Iowa is a destination for many wintering and nesting bald eagles. Each winter, there are around 5,000 eagles making Iowa home. The climate, landscape, and food supply make the state an ideal destination.
We're right in the middle between Canada and the Gulf Coast, so birds coming down out of northern Canada, they're going to settle here because we have little enough snow. The water is usually open for the winter.
Raptor centers, like the MacBride Raptor Center, take in any sick or injured eagles. There are several Raptor centers across the state. The Wildlife Care Clinic at Iowa State University, SOAR, or Saving Our Avian Resources in western Iowa, and the MacBride Raptor Center, which is jointly sponsored by the University of Iowa and Kirkwood Community College. All eagles that are brought in are given a thorough medical exam, and experts are noticing an increase of lead exposure in these majestic birds.
Every eagle, regardless of whether we suspect lead poisoning or not, we do send all eagle blood samples and fecal samples in.
Those samples head to Iowa State University, where researchers are conducting a non-invasive investigation of lead exposure in bald eagles across the state.
We don't really know what's happening out there with the nesting population or the wintering population. We do know that over half of all bald eagles admitted to the Raptor rehabilitation centers have been exposed to lead between 2004 and 2012. So they had ingested lead, more than half of them. And so we want to understand, kind of what's happening out there with these nesting birds that aren't coming into the Raptor rehabilitation centers.
Lead is just as dangerous in animals as it is for humans. High levels of lead exposure in eagles, or in any animal, is fatal.
It is toxic, it affects the neurological system, the liver, kidneys. It's just a very nasty metal. We've always known that it's something you probably shouldn't eat, but until now, people really didn't know just how extensive that exposure was in wildlife.
Researchers at Iowa State and the University of Iowa State Hygienic Labratory are working together to examine lead exposure and the possible causes. Scientists at Iowa State travel across Iowa and visit nesting sites, spending no more than 30 minutes at each site. They collect feces for examination back at the lab, where it is sorted and sent off for testing at the State Hygienic Lab in Ankeny.
Yeah, the collaboration between University of Iowa and Iowa State University is really beneficial because we're out collecting the samples and conducting all of the field research. Then we send all of our samples to the State Hygiene Lab, where they can use their highly sophisticated ICP-MS machine to test these samples for lead.
Once in Ankeny, researchers break down the fecal matter for further examination.
We'll weigh the samples out so we have a known amount. We'll digest the samples, which is adding acid and heat to it to try and get all the elements into solution so that we can actually analyze for lead.
The research being done is a collaboration between the two universities and the Raptor centers across the state. So while the Cyclones and the Hawkeyes may clash on the gridiron, the work they're doing together studying the effects of lead on bald eagles within the state will benefit all Iowans.
People from all walks of life can enjoy bald eagles. One more reason for them to get outdoors and enjoy the outdoors, whether you're a Cyclone or a Hawkeye.
There are several possible sources of the eagles ingesting the lead, which include deer carcasses and environmental hazards. The research was part of a 2-year study, and the results will be published next spring. The research was made possible by a state wildlife grant and the American Eagle Foundation.